Okay, today people, we're going to go for a little wander. And I'll just show you why I prefer to live in Fuzhou and why I consider Fuzhou to be one of the greenest garden sort of cities that I've at least been to in China. So for Fuzhou, all the streets are lined with mango trees like that. And this is like a typical street. This is like a main road here, but even a small little typical street is still lined with mango trees. And like all their overpasses for pedestrians and for cars usually are lined with some type of greenery or shrubs or something like that. And they have like flowers and everything all throughout the city. This is quite common. This is not a special part of the city by any means. So we'll go and look at a few parks and show you that Chinese cities are not all concrete doom and gloom. This is the perfect example of us saying how they line all their overpasses with all these vines and flowers. If you actually look on top of that, if you're actually driving on the road, on the other side of that there'll be like a flower bed. So we'll keep venturing on to where we're going. Okay, we're still on our journey, heading to our first major location. I'll just show you, Fuzhou, we're located in the south of China, so we're opposite Taiwan on the, or maybe it's called the Taiwan Strait. Fuzhou's crisscrossed with all these man-made canals because we get a lot of typhoons. We're prone to typhoon season. We get usually 3 a year, but normally they won't directly hit us because we're located 20 kilometres inland from the sea. They'll sort of usually bypass, but we still get a lot of torrential rain. So they have all these little canals everywhere, and they have for the main tour, they have some in like the touristy sort of areas, and they have like little boats you can boat ride down. This one's purely just for stormwater relief. Okay, so this will be our first stop off, as this is the closest to where I live. I think this is called perhaps Wushang Park, I'm not sure. I'm just guessing because across the road there's a mountain called Wushang Mountain. So let's just have a look around. Okay, so as you can see, it's quite a nice place. No people around, and why that is this is the middle of the day, and we're in the middle of summer. It's stinking hot, and these sort of places, they'll be inundated with people early evening, late evening, when the temperature's nice and low. So one thing Fuzhou does very, very well is when they reclaim a lot of land, they turn it into park reserve land, where a lot of places, normally they'll reclaim land and they'll try to put some sort of a housing community or something on there. Now this actual park itself here, this was all swampland only about 18 months ago, and they reclaimed it all back. And you can see a lot of water, but if you head sort of over here in this direction, it has more sort of grassland where you can sort of sit and frolic on the grass. Actually, this is a tea house here. You can come sit there. I'm not sure if it's open right now because they wouldn't do much business as it's too hot. Come down and drink some tea, maybe late evening or in the winter time, come down during the day. And just over there in the background, that's actually another park. There's a main road, so you can't see it hidden just behind here. And that has some historical sites, and that sort of has a walk path that zigzags across that small mountain, maybe for a couple of kilometres. So we'll keep heading in this direction. Yeah, and we're actually right down, we're not too far from the centre of the city. I came to this park first because this is like about 5 minutes walk from where I live. But as you can see in the background, we're actually like surrounded by all buildings. It's just, they have these parks, these big large parks, maybe every 2 or 3 kilometres. And then besides that, the city's inundated with these small recreational zones, probably every kilometre or less than a kilometre, where you can just go down and relax and do some sort of exercise. China gets a lot of heat about not doing the right thing by their people. But actually, like a place like Fuzhou, they really put the people's well-being before the economy. Now, the average square metre, if you wanted to, like for an apartment, is about 10,000 US dollars per square metre. But yet, they use a lot of their land for parks and recreational places instead of building high-rises like that, what you can see in the background. And what they do is, if they have a very old community, they'll knock that down and they'll build another community really close to that one, and you have the option of living in that community, or you can take the money and go live wherever you want. And generally what they're doing is they're taking the population out of poverty, giving them somewhere better to live. And while they do that, they'll try to also green up the city as well. They'll relocate some of that land to make it into sort of recreational parkland. Okay, so I've never actually been here or through here before, but I pointed out before, this is like the Wushang Mountain. I told you there's little mountain walk paths. So I'm assuming that this tunnel goes under the mountain and comes out the other side. So I'll venture on in there and see what happens where I end up. It's interesting. You come in here, they have some tables, because there's the tea shop I pointed out before just outside the entrance. And you must be able to get a bit of reprieve from the heat on days like this. So we'll keep heading down. And from that direction, it's very interesting. You learn something new every day, don't you? Still walking through the same tunnel system, and on the walls they just have like a lot of history of Fuzhou, how it's changed over the years. Crossroads, people. Not sure down there. It looks like got like a bit of a movie going on. Maybe there's like a little cinema you can watch. I think this is the easiest direction for me to get out, so I'll try this way because I just had a look at the map there. So I'll see what happens if I go this way. And we made it out of the a little tunnel configuration. So that's where we just came out of. And if you go up these stairs here, that'll take you up the mountain I was saying before. I've actually been up there quite a few times. It's lovely to go up there and have a beer late afternoon. There's a nice temple up there. Actually, there's a couple of temples up there, but you got to walk up a lot of stairs, so I have no interest in that. So I'll head on to where we want to go see the main park in the city. Okay, so while I'm just on my way walking to the next little destination, this is another little sort of thing they have everywhere in the city. So this is like a little exercise area. Chinese people love, not now because it's stinking hot, about 38 degrees, but they like to come down and socialise at night, and all the old people like to do their exercises. And here we can see, here's one of those canals I was saying before, like to help alleviate the storm water rising up in the city if we get a torrential rain or downpour. You're only going to make this video about parks and recreational areas, but on my way to this park, I'll just show you this place here. This is like a reconstituted version of old Fuzhou. And as you can see, all the facades of the shops, they're set up in the old traditional style, Chinese style. And believe it or not, if you just go over here, this place is called 3 Lanes 7 Alleys, and it's like a big maze of small alleys and lanes. Be over, I don't know, maybe a couple of hundred, about a 2 kilometre square sort of circumference. And the interesting thing, when I first came here, this was actually a slum. I've lived in Fuzhou for over 16 years, and this was actually a slum. And then they reclaimed it all back, relocated those people who are living in like little like chalets, and built this. And if we just walk through the maze and go out here, the actual one of the main shopping areas of the city is a stone's throw, or as the crow flies, would be around 100 metres. So if you went 100 metres to my right, you'd be bang smack downtown. I'll quickly jump there and show you. You need to be careful walking along here, or you'll get lost because it's zigzag with all these little lanes. And hidden in all these little lanes are historical places of interest, like maybe dwellings of some famous old poet or a famous political person. And they have a lot of museums and things like that. They have the old mixed with the new. See, the new with the old. Came out of there, that direction, and now this is called Donjiako. This used to be one of the main shopping areas of the city until they built their subway system. And what happened is they had to close a lot of the road off for a couple of years, and a lot of the businesses relocated, and they sort of shifted the main CBD shopping area. All right, so we just came from over there, that direction. And what you should notice is there aren't many people out and about. And why that is it's right now, it's about 38 degrees, about 85% humidity, about 1:30 in the afternoon. So it's the peak of the daytime temperature. And any person with half a brain would be inside avoiding the heat. So normally with that touristy sort of place, if you went there in the evening, that'd be packed with 1,000 people maybe. But what I'm trying to showcase is even we're downtown in one of the main sort of shopping areas. How still tree lined all the streets are, and how green it is. So that's what I'm trying to really showcase, is how green Fuzhou is. Okay, we're now in the main CBD part of the city, which you can tell. Let's look around. Lots of big buildings. And if we just look down the road here, this is called Fuzhou. This road goes straight through the city, through the, we'll say, the guts of the city, through the centre of the city. But even still lush and lined. And Fuzhou is surrounded by mountains. You can see in the foreground there, some mountains. If you ever come to Fuzhou and you find one single street that does not have a tree, look me up and I'll give you $100. All right, head down into get a bit of reprieve from the heat. I'll just come down here. Some nice air conditioning. Cross underneath the road, grab a beer, and then I'll head to Fuzhou, where we'll call that our final destination of the day. Another thing why I love Fuzhou is you can drink beer anywhere and you can buy beer anywhere, like many countries. So we're just in 7-Eleven, so I'll grab a beer and a snack and keep going. A few little snacks, not sure what they are, but it looks okay. Chishini. All right, grab myself a beer and a little snack. Looks like a bit of sort of barbecue sweet and sour pork or something. Right now, this here, you see these little funny things here? We're in like the restaurant area of the city. And at night time, they all open up. You can get all the little snacks you can see on the picture there. They'll have all different sorts of local cuisine and things like that. So this whole area is just restaurants. And what they do is in the late afternoon, they'll close this road off and there'll be no cars allowed at all. And it turns into like one big food court, sort of big food mall. These are the sort of things Chinese people like to eat. Like this, Chinese people, they love to eat barbecue like this. They love it. Chinese people love eating. And you can see the street, it goes for, I'm not sure how far, a couple of kilometres at least. And then it has all these little side streets. And this is just restaurants, all restaurants everywhere you see. Nothing but restaurants. And we need to head over in this direction over here to our destination. Another thing, you know, everyone says China is anti-religion. Well, this is a Catholic church here. And actually in this sort of, we're still in the same sort of shopping area, business district. In this shopping district there are two large Catholic churches and one very, very large mosque, like one huge mosque for like the Xinjiang sort of people. So there is some religious diversity. And another thing with Chinese cities, you've got to watch out for scooters, is the city just self-replicates. And what that means is it doesn't matter where you live, you have access to all the same things over and over and over again. Bakeries, shopping centres, small shops. With every block there would be one of those, like sort of every one square city block. You'll always have a bank. You'd always have a bank or a supermarket, you know, all that sort of stuff. So life is very convenient. And from over that area, main part of the city, it heads down to a nice hotel down there. And this is where we want to head into here. So we'll just head in to the main entrance and I'll have a little tour around. So this park where we're going, this is called Fuzhou. Shi meaning west and Hu meaning lake. And this in China there is actually a famous lake called Fuzhou in the city of Hangzhou, which I've been to. It's a beautiful place. It was once renowned as China's most beautiful city. You can see Fuzhou, mountains everywhere. We're in a cul-de-sac of mountains, and we'll head over here. It's like a bit of a man-made island. Seen in my other previous videos, you'll notice at night time an open area like this would be filled with hundreds and hundreds of elderly people doing all different types of dancing, folk dancing, line dancing, some Tai Chi, lots of things like that. And at night time, this lake, they light it up beautifully with LEDs and strobe lights. And over there in the distance where you can see those flowers, over here they have like a bit of a like a water show, illuminated water show. Now Fuzhou itself is holds a special place for me as it's lined with all these white trees here. These are called ghost gums. We have them in Australia, and if you haven't picked up yet, I'm actually from Australia. And the ghost gum, or the eucalyptus tree, they have a beautiful, beautiful eucalyptus fragrant smell. So for me, when I come down here, it like gives me a bit of a taste of home with the smells and just looking around at the trees, because I come from like a nice country sort of town. Okay, and this is the entrance, the main gate heading into the park itself. Usually when you come in that main entrance, they don't have, there's a gate that was closed in the middle. I'm not sure why that is. That's never closed. Maybe something to do with COVID, because I've seen a guy sitting there with a temperature check, but he didn't check my temperature, so he's not doing a very good job if that's what he's supposed to do. Now this is by no means the largest park in Fuzhou, and I believe this was constructed around 280 AD. But this is the most central park of the city. In the part of the city called Gulo. Fuzhou is a funny city. It's sort of surrounded by mountains and a river, and everything inside the river and the mountains is called Gulo, and everything outside of that are sort of like satellite cities. Have a population of about 8 million people for the inner part of the city. Okay, so that's basically an overview of the lake there. So I'm not going to go around the whole thing because it'll take me far too long. But basically what it says there, I was having a quick read, is that there are 36 Shihus, which I didn't actually know, located in China, and this is ranked number 6 for beauty due to the abundance of trees, cleanliness, and mountain views. They come down, not now because it's too hot. You see these people, they're playing a game. They play for money. Actually, gambling's illegal in China, but they come down, especially in the evenings. All the old people, I love to come down and gamble. Everyone knows Chinese people love to gamble. But I think it's more about the socialising aspect, not the actual money gambling side of it. Now, one thing about all the parks in Fuzhou is they are immaculately kept. Shouldn't have drank those beers. Obviously, they must have the workforce to be able to do that, but the whole city itself is beautiful and clean. Like, even though there is a lot of older people that have the bad habits of littering still, they haven't cottoned on to keeping the environment beautiful, but they do a good job of picking up after them. Nice big ghost gum tree there for my little Aussie viewers. Look at the girth on that trunk. Look at it, beautiful. Especially beautiful this time of day when there are no people around. So you can really sort of just chill out and relax. And the beauty of having a place like this in a city this size, it just gives you a chance to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city. So anyone who lives in a large city would know exactly what I'm talking about. Cities have a consistent ambient noise, like think of it like a background hum, large cities. But when you come to places like this, it's just quiet, it's tranquil. You can't hear the city, you can't hear the cars. The air smells nice and fresh and clean. So it's really good, I believe, for the mental health of people. They can come down, especially just come down, bring the kids down, sort of get at one with nature, get away from the concrete sort of jungle. Even though Fuzhou is a beautiful green city, it's still a good place to come and socialise, for elderly people especially. Another thing they introduced, let me have a look if I can see it. We just peeked through here. Oh yeah, maybe. See through there, you see that boardwalk? They introduced that about a year and a half ago maybe. That actually goes straight through the centre of the city, and it would go for at least, I'm not sure, at least 25 kilometres. So if you are like health orientated, you could follow that all the way along, and that the whole way along it sort of runs parallel to a water system, parks and lovely green sort of areas. Look at these beautiful trees. Every time I come down, they fascinate me, these trees. And I'm not even really like a greeny sort of person. Our little garden of Zen. Okay, so if you made it this far through the video. Well done. Sorry if I bored you to death. I'm just trying to show that China has some nice beautiful cities that you maybe never heard of. So if you're ever in the southern China vicinity, not far from Fuzhou, probably might be worth coming and having a look. And if not, well, don't. So I'll sign off there, and unless I come across something else on my journey home, I'll cut the video out here. But you might get a bonus section, who knows. So until then, take care. Alright, I wasn't going to make a nighttime video, but I'm on my way home from work. So one thing about China is extremely safe. Well, Fuzhou, I'll just talk about Fuzhou. Extremely safe. And you'll never feel worried or scared anywhere you go, regardless of what time of day or night it is. So one thing they do very well in China is they love to illuminate all their parks and not just parks, but their cities in general. So here we have a nice pond. This is just a little local pond near a local residence near where I work. You see, it's nice and well lit up. I'm just heading over in this direction to the subway, so we'll have a look what's going on over there. Okay, so it's about 9 o'clock at night, and still, you can see still quite a few people in the park getting around. That's because Fuzhou is extremely hot this time of year. Daytime temperature would average around perhaps 37 degrees. So people like to get out and congregate later on in the evenings after they've had dinner. A lot of kids running around, families, enjoying the nice cool summer breeze. Come down here and sit in the park, have a beer if you want to do, as there is no illegal drinking in China. So there you go, a bit of Fuzhou by night. Just to put in perspective, this is like the same park, just a different entrance. Here we have the subway entrance there to get onto the subway. And you see the park, it's located like down in the heart of the city, and these sort of parks there are everywhere. So nothing new there. So that's about it. I'll head on into the subway and go home.